What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast. I'm Noxie.
I'm Kiko.
And Nickums.
And we are back with the tie-ins, and this time we're hitting you guys with another topic that we feel like has been kind of like long overdue for a channel like this. Obviously, we cover, for those of you who don't know, who are brand new to the show, we cover Weekly Shonen Jump on our main series. But obviously there's amazing stories outside of Weekly Shonen Jump that we feel like are criminally underrated, a little bit farther into the realm of the obscure that we feel like not enough people are talking about. So hopefully we can bring some new titles to you guys. What we'll do is we each have chosen a couple that we want to highlight. We'll introduce the title of that story. We'll give a quick non-spoiler synopsis and conversation of that story, and then I'll let you know when we're moving into cover a review of sorts, or a review conversation of its first volume. And we'll put timestamps down in the description, so if you want to like stop the episode, go read it, or skip past, the ones that you haven't seen, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it, there will be warnings there for you. Very clear warnings. You can jump into the description and skip over those parts. If you are already fans of the stories we're going to be talking about, then have fun with the conversation we have, gushing over how amazing these stories are that we have, and we have some really cool picks that we want to get into for you guys. But before that, we have a really exciting announcement. Project Manga is a part of a collaborative effort to raise money for coronavirus, and one way that we have thought to do that is by going in with a bunch of other YouTube and Twitch anime and manga related content creators to bring a fully live streamed anime convention to your monitors, to your phones, to your TVs. It's called M.A.N.G.A 2020, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We got panels, a cosplay contest in the works, video gaming tournaments, a dedicated Discord, Twitch, and YouTube for all of these events that will be completely fully streamed, and ways to donate to COVID charities will be abundant throughout all of that content that we'll be giving for you guys. We got some really cool names involved. I don't want to give too much information away because a lot of things are still kind of being established and being figured out, but a lot of really cool content coming your way pretty soon here, hopefully in the next month or two. But and I'll put a link for ways that you can keep up with that information in the description. There's already a Twitter for Anitude and whatnot, so I'll drop those in the description too for you. But let's get in to the topic at hand.
Let's go, baby.
Slept on manga.
It's exciting. This is the most exciting topic I feel like we've covered.
This honestly, this is super exciting, and like how have we not done this, right? It's like it's Project Manga, and we haven't had a single manga recommendations episode. But hey, here we are. We're here now. And
I've been waiting for this.
Yeah, and it's great. Yeah. So, who wants to go first? Nickums, I feel like you have a lot of really cool picks, and I can't wait to see what you're talking about.
Definitely. No, I can start. So my first pick tonight is actually a manga that is long running, has been running for many years, and it is, pretty popular, but there's barely anyone I know who reads it. I just don't know really anyone who reads it, basically, but it is Kingdom. So just like to go over like a brief, synopsis, no spoilers of the story. The story takes place in ancient China, Warring States period. So if you ever seen the movie Hero with Jet Li, right?
Yeah.
That's like...
Love that fucking movie, dude.
Yeah, phenomenal movie, obviously.
Definitely.
That's a slept-on Jet Li movie.
Yeah, no, definitely. So that story, right? Like, China has been unified, and there's the main character, Jet Li, is like trying to assassinate the king, the king of unified China, right?
Yeah.
This story is about before those events. It is the story of the king who takes over all of the warring states, who unifies all of China. And so the main character is not the king. It's actually like the story starts off as this kind of like slave boy. He's like a war orphan, and him and his friend, they want to become famous. They want to become great generals. They know the only thing they have in life is their swords and their bodies. They have nothing else because they're orphans and slaves essentially. So they're like training to become, great generals and become famous and have their names known throughout the ages. And the story generally is about one of these boys and his journey over as he grows up taking part in this military campaign to take over all of China or whatever, to unify China.
Yeah.
It's definitely like pretty good art. I wouldn't say it's like top tier art, but it's like pretty solid art generally.
It's got such a strong art style. It's not like the most deep. What'd you say?
Bold, like the lining is bold.
Yeah.
You get very powerful facial expressions.
Yeah.
You know, I really like
that. The eyes are like a main like point in like the character designs. Like I've just never seen a look like that.
Right. And when they're like swinging weapons, it's like really like exaggerated. Like it really shows the movement showing these things. And one thing I want to mention about Kingdom generally, and I kind of want to shout out to One Piece fans here. Kingdom, to me, is the story closest that I've ever read to the storytelling style of One Piece.
I've heard that.
Because and how that kind of works out. Not to give too many spoilers away, but like this young boy that like is the main character, he gets very close to high-ranking government officials, and he's kind of like taken along in this like movement through history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like think of in One Piece when you're going between arcs. You got the Alabasta arc, and then it goes into Jaya or whatever, and in between like few chapters or few episodes where you're seeing like the high-level world government officials or the Gorosei, all these like super high-level people talking about all this cool shit like in between the arcs. You get to see those all the time in Kingdom because the main character is there.
Yeah,
he's not up there, but he's with those people. He's in the room, in these deliberations and these planning meetings.
And he's just like such a tiny,
and he's this tiny,
and
little boy.
That he's going to reach that status, obviously, because that's what the story's all about. And it's and that just adds to that hype of following like his journey. That is gonna be so lit as he reaches that rank. You know what I mean? That's one thing that's super exciting about the series, because you're right. I feel like a lot of stories don't really give you, like world building like that. You know what I mean? Where they don't really like give you, in a lot of stories anyway, too much of a taste outside of the main character's point of view.
You're right.
Too often, so you'll know that the main character is progressing, and the character will go from really weak to really strong, and you'll follow that, but you don't get like a whole bunch of crazy examples of characters that are already at that level that come in and then leave and then come in and then leave. You know what I'm saying? Like usually like in a story you're following, like the main character will run into a really strong character that is super like hyped up. Maybe they've been talked about for maybe at least an arc beforehand, but then they're introduced, they do their shit, you know what I'm saying? And then they become an ally, they get defeated, they're out of the story, you know what I'm saying? Like having like characters that are high ranking, that are going to be a big deal and that they're important for the world, coming in and out or lightly referenced for a long time until you finally get like an arc centered around them later, just does so much more for the hype of their characters when it's finally fleshed out fully. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. But
and so I think just touch on a few more points. The things you get in this story are, strategic, warfare. There's like major armies like clashing or whatever. So you have like the generals doing like war strategy, tactics, that sort of stuff. You get tons and tons of political intrigue in terms of like these kingdoms and people like assassinating people and trying to like move up in the ranks of like government and stuff. So there's all sorts of very cool like intrigue and plot and politics and not mystery, but like politics and subterfuge and conspiracy and that kind of stuff. But also like epic battles, mixed direction, epic battles, huge fights, tons of cool stuff. So I very much recommend this series.
Yeah, dude. Another thing that I feel like we can say in like the non-spoiler synopsis portion of this before we move into talking about its first volume is the historical accuracy of the series, right? Because I'm not that far in Kingdom. I'm not current like you are, Nick, but you would be telling me, about how like it really is like pinpoint accurate to events that have already happened in China.
Right. There are kind of like the narration chunks or whatever. Occasionally they actually throw in like, here is a quote, and I forget the book, but there's this famous book that people kind of attribute to Confucius that kind of chronologizes or whatever, you know what I mean? Like has the timeline of events or whatever. Yeah. And Kingdom actually quotes that book. Which is like basically historical. So it's not like exact history, but is very, very, very close to history.
Sure.
And of course, all these characters are, like their motivations and stuff are made up. Obviously, we don't know their exact motivations, but all these people, like all the characters are literal like Wikipedia article named people.
That's so fucking sick.
Which is pretty sick.
That is definitely super cool.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Should we get into that first volume though?
Yes.
All right. So here's your warning now. We are going to move into spoiler territory, and we are going to, and for all of the series that we cover, like I said, we're going to talk about just the first volume, because we don't want to, obviously, like, any of these stories can have an entire episode dedicated to us talking about the entire story or whatever. But we kind of just want to keep it at a volume, you know, that way people that are fans of it, you know, can gush with us. People that are brand new to it don't have to read that much of it to come back and watch this. So, all right, Kingdom Volume 1. How did you guys feel about this?
Ooh.
What do you guys have to say about Volume 1 of Kingdom?
Ooh.
Maybe I mean I could maybe go first, just in the sense that I didn't read Kingdom at all. You know, like, this is my first experience with Kingdom, and I went through and just read the first volume, and I'll just give you a little bit of background as to why. It's because everybody I've ever known that's recommended Kingdom to me has said, this is the manga for you. If I know you, this is your manga. And I'm like, man, another 700 chapter manga. I don't know about this.
It's a lot.
I don't want it to be the manga for me, and then I don't get to read anything for the next 3 months because I'm fucking just stuck in the book for 3 months straight. But after the first chapter, I noticed
I knew it was gonna hit you on chapter 1, bro. Fuck.
Everybody assessed it correctly. I mean, right away, I had a tear to my eye just thinking about, like, man, this is only chapter 1. What the hell am I gonna feel in chapter 300, 400, 500? You know, like, it's because
doesn't his friend? Okay, so Shin's friend, what's his name?
Hyo.
He dies at the very end of the first chapter, right?
I don't know if it is the first chapter.
The first chapter, but it's in the first volume. Yeah. That's pretty early.
It's definitely in the first, like, 2 chapters. I feel like, you know what I mean, and like when they're building up their relationship, and it's like you kind of like start to like feel like, oh man, maybe like I don't know. I was blindsided by it, but then like in hindsight, hindsight, you're like, okay, maybe I could kind of see that coming, but like definitely on my first like go through of it, I was no.
No, I definitely didn't see it coming. I almost thought at first, like, this doesn't seem like this should be happening right now. And then obviously as the story fleshes out, you're like, okay, this makes all the sense in the world. But at first I'm like, this is too much too fast. Maybe people just think I want people to die in stories, and I don't think they really get me. And then I read a little bit more, and it's just like, okay, this all makes perfect. Because it's funny, like, it had me right away, right from the beginning. And then when Hyo shows up and he's fucked up and then he dies, I'm like, I'm confused. Why already? He just went yesterday or whatever. Like, this is way too soon. Things are happening too fast. It's supposed to be 700 chapter manga here.
Right, and it's like, I needed them to come up together alongside each other. Like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah.
It's surprising, too, because, like, Hyo is kind of like guiding Shin. You know what I mean? Like, Shin is kind of like, and when they're very young, he's like, oh, let's just, like, whatever, let's be thieves. And Hyo's like, are you kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You think what we're doing is be thieves? No. We're trying to be great generals here. So when Hyo, he was like the mentor almost, so they're probably around the same age, but like when Hyo is like the mentor, it's like, how does he die? Like,
it's like, bro, I thought it was gonna establish like a rivalry. Like, I thought we were gonna get some fucking like Naruto Sasuke shit, some fucking I did too. And I was like, I'm ready. Like, this is like a really cool partnership, but rivalry dynamic. At the, like they feel really close, but like you could tell that they'll push each other, and like keep the race, like neck and neck. Like, Hyo will get stronger, Shin will get stronger. Like, I was imagining all of these things for this series, and then nope. Sorry.
No. Or like their battles, I've won 332 times and you've won 331 times. We've had 785 draws, and it's like, oh my god, so good.
Yes,
dude. And then
Shobun-kun like shows up. He's like,
are you kidding me?
What?
Are you fucking with me right
battles? Y'all are lying. Hell no. It's like, no. These are dead ass the numbers. Like, we fight every day, and this is our. He's like, you guys fight that seriously every single day? He's like, Hyo and fucking, Shin are like, fuck yeah, we do. Like, this is how we're training to be the best of the best. Like, this is how serious we are. Like, we have the strongest resolve. Obviously, they don't say that, but like, that's what they're implying with what they're telling him.
And even though Shin like goes through like the rest of this volume, like especially like when the assassin who killed Hyo comes back, and like he's like kind of like hyped up as like this super strong dude. it's not too unbelievable that Shin, handles him the way that he does, because Shobun-kun was surprised at their work ethic and their training regimen at such a young age, so like it's not like that the defeat of that assassin was just like, oh, the main character is just gonna beat him here. Like there was just enough setup. Yeah, there was just enough setup, for why he was as effective as he was there, which was
and Hyo even explains, he's like, okay, against me, we're even, but Shin is far stronger than me. Just for some reason, maybe he's holding back, maybe not. I really don't think he was. I just think it's because we knew each other so well that I could fight him at his level. Yeah. But Shin is way the fuck stronger.
A motherfucker that is not me and doesn't know him as well as me is gonna have a really hard time with this.
But the assassin did say that. The assassin said your fighting style is the exact same as Hyo, because Hyo he killed Hyo. He already fought Hyo, so he's like, your fighting style is the exact same. But even so, Shin is a level up, from Hyo. So it's like, oh, cool.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And then when fucking dude, and then I bet you were even more confused when he goes to where Hyo tells him to go, and it's Hyo there again.
I was like, what? I was just baffled. I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck's going on anymore. And I love that. Yeah. As long as I'm going to know very soon, which I did, and it's perfectly, the story is perfectly told, so I understood it. But like at the time, you're like,
what the hell?
Is this some kind of weird magical story? I thought
where's
this was
Ashton
realistic as hell. Yeah,
where's the hidden camera?
But I'm like, is this a magical story now? I thought this was supposed to be like a realistic, fucking historically accurate, or at least close to historically accurate story. And now I feel like there's magic involved, and I'm confused. I don't know.
It's fucking body double, which is a thing, which is a concept that has been
going on for
forever.
Thousands of years. For sure. For sure.
Yeah, body double fucked me up, man. I was like, it's that missing piece. It's like that piece, like you're like, okay, you put that piece on the puzzle, and then the puzzle finally makes sense. Like the whole thing. I'm like, duh, body double. Why didn't I think of that?
I think the author does a really good job of like the characters, that are brought in. You have an initial opinion of them. Then you get information that kind of makes you go like, fuck this dude Shobun-kun, bro. And then and then, of course you get more information later and you're like, yo, Shobun-kun is actually that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
it's like back and forth, you know what I mean? Like the way that the characters are developed and fleshed out. Really, if I can't if I don't have a whole entire, if I think I have a character figured out, and then I get that idea flipped on its head multiple times in such a short period of time, I feel like that's really good writing. And especially when it's, done in believable ways, and it just goes to like it's like real life, like you don't know anything about someone when you first meet them. Of course you have a first impression, but like everyone's got a story, you know what I mean? And a lot of authors, I feel like, just give you everything you need to know about a character, and like maybe there's a big twist later where the dude that you thought you knew this whole time isn't the way he was, but it's usually something that's like written and built up to in like a really extravagant way, but it feels so natural and so real. It's just like, I'm learning more about this person, so I'm starting to like them more, like I would with most people that I fucking meet, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I feel like that's really fucking cool in Kingdom.
Something else I love in this volume in particular is where after Hyo dies, obviously Shin, this is his best friend, he is super angry, super angry. And so when he finds out from the king that like he was a double, like Hyo was just thrown away as a double, he is so angry, and he's like, I am gonna kill you, to the king. You know what I mean? He's like, you're not my king. I don't care about you. I'm just a war orphan. I'm gonna kill you. And in this volume, he goes from being super angry at the king to being like, all right, well, Hyo actually like was kind of, in favor of this king, and he was like totally up for this, kind of suicide mission. And then he's like, all right, well,
I have to respect you now.
I have to use this opportunity to go to the next level, because that's what Hyo would want me to do.
Right.
So I love that progression. Very good.
Dude. Yeah. A lot happens in one volume. It's a very strong, very strong first volume.
This volume, it feels like the only. Man, I shouldn't even have went into this, because I was going to talk about one of my picks. So one of my two picks, there's a lot of information in the first volume, and it feels very reminiscent, where you get so much good, important information that each chapter almost feels like a volume itself.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of content,
especially with those monthlies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
definitely. So I really like I like your comparison to One Piece, and obviously these stories are quite different, but the storytelling you can sense already. The big thing that I sense right away that's very, reminiscent of Oda. Obviously, you get character cards when people are introduced.
Yeah.
And then you get a brief background pretty much, right away. That doesn't give you too much, but it gives you enough to just grasp who they are. Like Shogun Kun, you could use him as an example. It's like, okay, he's a king's instructor, but he rose through the ranks at battle with his lance. And, you're all right, okay, I know how he got to where he is.
Fighting style, I know,
I know just enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Shokyo, the assassin that came for Hyo.
Yeah.
They give even background on him, like, hey, Shokyo are an assassin family with a 200-year history, and this guy is not a joke. Like, this is big time assassin, family he's from, and or clan or whatever, like. But you definitely knew that this was his life's calling as a ninja assassin, whatever that is.
Right.
And you get just enough where you are invested, at least maybe not invested in the character, like your character lives or dies, but where they're coming from roughly, and it really helps to grasp the big picture.
Hell yeah.
And that was very Oda reminiscent of me.
Dude, for sure. 100%. Did we meet Oki in this volume?
Oh, hell yeah.
Woo! I just called him Guan Yu instantly as soon as I seen him. I was like, this is my Guan Yu for this story.
You want to know what I called him when I first saw him? The Rock. I feel like if we're going to make a live action, that should be The Rock playing that motherfucker.
Yeah, because it totally looks like him like Scorpion King, kind of, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely. And The Rock would have to dig real deep to find, that evil, treacherous side. Because he's the most interesting character to me so far in this first volume by far.
Dude,
he's huge.
A bad man, bro.
He's so mysterious. He's clearly like out for himself.
He's kind of like a Hisoka.
I'm so excited for both of you. Oh my god.
He's kind of like a Hisoka, doesn't he? Like kind of like feel like that like that chaotic. That chaotic. What would you call Hisoka? Chaotic. Neutral?
Sexual? I don't know, like
sexual.
That's for Hisoka. I would say that about. I mean, actually, I don't know about Oki. Well,
Hey, wait a minute now. Okay, hold on now. That's interesting. But he's like chaotic, like neutral, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you'll learn more about him. Obviously, he's definitely like a major character, but he is super interesting, and I'm very happy that you picked up that this dude is like you're gonna hear more about this guy, and you can tell. You can definitely tell.
Far in the first volume. I mean, just the fact that when K2, the chancellor on the left, the bad chancellor or whatever, is talking about him, he's like,
one.
Who also has got a lot of he's got all the harem, in the little hot tub. I was like, damn, that sucks for those girls. I feel bad for them.
That's the Orochi to me. I said Orochi right away.
Yep.
Yeah. But what he says is like, this is odd that Oki is now siding with political side here. Like he doesn't take part in politics, and why would he do this? And actually, it wasn't K2. It was like his advisor saying that or whatever. K2 is like, he wants land. He wants. This is like a key time for him to take over all Shogun Kun's land. That's why he whacked Shogun Kun, got him out of there. But it's just amazing that you get this background already. Like he's never taken place in politics whatsoever.
Yeah.
He sees this opportunity to expand his power. I don't. It's hard to say. Land equals power usually, right? In these stories. Sure. So like that's the way I took it. And it's just so intriguing that he's never taken place before, but now is the time, right? And I mean, now is the time for anything, right? As far as the story goes, it feels like now's the time. Strike while the iron's hot. You want something, you better go for it right now.
Yep,
absolutely.
Yep.
So, what are some other what are the other like major? Because I kind of want to I feel like I don't want to spend too much time on Kingdom. I don't want to spend too much time on any of these, but it's so hard because even though it's just a volume, we could talk about just a volume for a whole podcast episode.
Yeah,
I do want to mention when they're escaping from that Kokuhi village or whatever, from the army it's attacking them. They're in the tunnels or whatever.
Yeah.
And Shin has been working his ass off all day. He fought that assassin, and he's been leading them to escape. and he just collapses. And the king carries him
on his back.
And I'm just like, that is super powerful. That is super powerful to me.
Okay.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that's my exact point too. Because because 10, the little fucking mountain kid, is
love 10.
I love 10 too, but that's like the most powerful dialogue I felt like there was in this whole volume is, that's quite a heavy sword you got there, isn't it? And he's like, this is the heaviest sword I've ever carried. And I was just like, oh my God, I love this shit so much. And Say the king is very relatable, even though you shouldn't be really able to relate to like a child king. Like,
but like that's very
he's logical, direct, like he doesn't pull his punches, but he's still honorable in what he's saying, keeps his, head held high. It's just like, I love him as exactly for what he is. Like, he's the perfect written character for his position right now. I love it. I just love him. And maybe one more other thing is Muta is scary as fuck, bro. That assassin. Oh my God, I was so scared of fucking Muta.
Wait, Muta. That's the,
he's like the octopus.
The blow dart.
The octopus.
The blow dart,
yeah, bro.
Blow dart guy, bro. Yeah. I'm like, Jesus. Man,
he talks in that weird third person.
Third person shit. I was like, man.
It's like third person. Like Muta's speed is fast.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Super excited for you to see the next volume of this, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Shit went, man. I love, man. I was always so scared to start it, but I'm here, and
isn't that always how it goes, though? Isn't that always how it goes? You get things recommended left and right, and then for whatever reason you get this anxiety of starting it, and then but you're gonna love it at the same time, but you just for some reason the feeling just isn't right, and then you finally are just like, I'm just gonna do this, and you're like, I'm so thankful for this. Why didn't I do this before? Me in particular, it's like there's so many things that, like, okay, I'll just take Vinland Saga for example, quickly here. Just that I watched the anime, never read the manga. I wanted to pick up immediately because the anime was perfect, and like you just hear about the next arcs being so fucking good, and I want to read Vinland Saga next. But now that I read Kingdom, you're like, sorry, Vinland Saga, I gotta do this.
I know. Thorfinn who? I don't give a fuck about this kid anymore.
It's Shin hours, baby.
It's Shin hours all day. Hell yeah.
Okay.
But nothing against Vinland Saga.
No. You'll be back. You'll be back.
Yeah, I will be back. Definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
All right.
So good.
Should we move
next?
to the next one? I'm gonna go next because I'm super excited.
Do it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So so this is a story that if you follow me on Twitter, I talk about like kind of a lot, but like I haven't talked about it like in depth on this channel before yet, obviously. So I just want to get both of these stories that I've talked about a lot on Twitter on this episode, and then if we revisit, like for the people who follow me on Twitter, sorry, you're hearing me talk about it again. But like the next time we run this episode back, I'll have like brand new shit for you. But we're looking at My Home Hero, baby, and this fucking story is crazy. So it's got an author and illustrator combo, and it's coming out of Kodansha, Young Magazine. Is the magazine it's coming out of, and Kodansha just needs so much more love. You know what I'm saying? Like Tokyo Revengers is starting to like pick up, like a buzz, like more of a buzz on the internet and whatnot. But like there is so much heat coming out of this publication line, and it's like, and like we were talking about before the show, Kiko, like we need official ways to get these stories. And I heard, and I think we have official words now that Kodansha is working to make a app similar to like the Manga Plus app, or something like that, where we can have officially translated Kodansha stories. So I'm super excited about that, but like that information comes so like few and far between, and it's very vague, but at least I can confidently say that I feel like it is official now, if you want to look into that. But that's very exciting. But My Home Hero is written by Asaki Masashi, illustrated by Yamakawa Naoki. I don't know anything else that they've done. Specifically, I haven't extensively looked into them before, but this is the story about a regular ass middle-aged dad who has a daughter that just fucking flew the fucking nest and is out and like independent on her own now, and he's like obviously like anxious about that, as any parent would be. And so he's like, all right, I meet up with my daughter every so often to go get some lunch. So they go get some lunch. And she's wearing glasses and like a SARS mask or whatever. I don't remember exactly what she was wearing, but she's covering up she's covering up her face, or a coronavirus mask.
Yeah.
But she's covering up her face, and he's like, hey, what's going on? Like, take all that, what's going on here? Like, take off all that stuff. She takes off the shit, and she's got bruises and shit all over her face. And he's like, do you have a boyfriend? And she's like, yeah, I got a boyfriend. He's like, did he do this to you? She's like, no, I fell. You know what I'm saying? Like the typical
Several
lies.
times?
Yeah, the typical lies. So he's like, nah, fuck that. And he follows her, back to her new apartment that she has. Or he goes to her new apartment while she's not there, and he breaks inside of it to see if there's like evidence of a boyfriend being there. And of course, he gets inside of the fucking apartment, and there's 2 toothbrushes, 2 towels, 2 fucking like sets of house shoes and shit. And he's like, she's got a fucking boyfriend, and he's beating her up. The boyfriend comes home. The boyfriend comes home while he's there, so he hides in a closet. The boyfriend's on the phone, drunk. And you basically like get this information that he's a gangster, you know what I'm saying? That he's with the Yakuza, and he's like, this is the worst case scenario ever. He overhears his conversation. Basically, what it comes down to, and this is all in the first, chapter, so this isn't too much of a spoiler, but this is, the major, point of the series.
The driving force.
The driving force of the story is that he overhears this dude saying that he's going to kill his daughter.
Yeah.
So as his parental instinct like kicks in, he fucking bum rushes the dude out the closet and smashes him over the fucking head with a toaster and kills him. And then that starts the story. This middle-aged dad just becomes a murderer out of, self-defense, really. You know what I mean? Like, what would you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it starts this
torture buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he
wasn't getting off that easy.
Right. Well, hey, in the spur of the moment, like this dude's probably never even been in a fight in his life.
He hasn't. Yeah,
like,
no,
like
he hasn't.
I think he's like a toy
he's
salesman.
Definitely different.
Yeah, he's like a toy salesman. Like he's the most
but
regular.
Don't forget.
Yeah, but
don't forget that he a mystery writer. Yes, he writes mystery novels for fun.
That's very important.
And that is so. It's so good for the plot mechanism and like
for the plot mechanism.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I just think it's so cool. Taking someone who is so easy to relate to and putting them into a world that we only see on TVs and movies, because normally like when you have like stories like these, it makes sense that these characters are in these situations that they find themselves in. But this man becoming a murderer in the blink of an eye forces so much character development, character progression, so much like just it's just crazy. It's a wild ride. It's crazy watching this guy go from someone who we feel like we know to a completely different person in lifestyle that fast. You know what I mean? And the craziest part about it is that after he fucking kills this dude, now the mob is after him, looking into the murder. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now he has to deal. Yeah, he has to worry about the police. He has to. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just. Right. It's just. I often attribute it. I often say this. It feels like I'm like watching a Martin Scorsese movie when I read through this manga. And and I'm so excited for it. It's just like such a good like psychological thriller. It's nail biting. It's on the edge of your seat. Big butt clench, as I usually say. Like it's an amazing story, and it has such a strong first volume. Can't wait to start talking about it, which we're going to do right now. So here's your warning. I will put the timestamp in the description. So if you haven't read My Home Hero, stop it now. Go read the first volume and come back, whatever you want to do. But let's get into it. So
I definitely recommend on this one, like read the first volume before hearing this conversation, because when I was reading it, so this is my first time reading it. I've never read this before. You did recommend it to me, Knox.
Yeah.
And I did not take your advice. I was going to get into it eventually, but
like you
I've been slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, this is definitely a volume for me that like I'm like just on the couch just reading, and I'm like, what? This what?
Yes, bro. It doesn't stop.
You can't not like just scream out loud like what is happening right now?
Yes. Like what is he going to do? You know what I mean? Like. And it goes back to what I was saying about how relatable he is, and like more so than like any other series. While I'm following a character, I'm sitting here going like, what would I do? Could I deal with this? You know what I mean? And if you're reading, hell no. And if you're
we're not mystery novel writers.
Yes,
like, that's
the
key here.
Yeah, that's the key there. But at the same time, it's still regular person nerves.
It's
still regular 1000%. Person, like anxiety and overthinking. You know what I mean? Like him being a mystery novel writer is definitely the plot mechanism that makes it believable that he's doing what he's doing. But still, like if you've never been in a fight before, for example, you know what I'm saying? Like those endorphins, that adrenaline. You know what I'm saying? Like you black out, you know what I'm saying? And you don't think properly, and you know what I'm saying? So it's like when he finds himself in these situations where he's got to lie without showing it, You know what I mean? He's got to react to things that people say to him, and they're looking at his expressions and his you know, his body language and shit, and he's faking it perfectly. You're like, holy shit, this is wild, right? And it's like, okay.
He even says that when he is planning. So after he's killed this dude, and he's like, we got to dispose of this body. He even says in the story, like, I have thought of 20 ways to dispose of a body.
Yeah.
But it's one thing to think of 20 ways to dispose of a body, and it's a different thing to dispose of a body.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's a different ball game entirely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I mean, especially for his line of work too. Like, obviously, if you're a mystery novel writer, like, you should be thinking of these things. Whereas, like me, I don't write no mystery novels. I'm never thinking of a way to dispose of a body. NSA, put that on your record, because I never thought of that.
And it's so cool. Actually, it's so cool actually seeing him do it, because then you get the exposition, or you get the explanation in the background and like the narrative in the narrative boxes, and it's so cool. Like, just seeing that. Not that I'm ever going to take that information and use it, but it's just like so cool. You know,
who knows where the Yakuza is going to strike next?
And
you got a family to protect.
And one more thing I wanted to say is that, like, you know, when I was making the point about how, like, I'm sitting here seeing, I've already forgotten his first name. Tetsuo. Tosu Tetsuo. My bad. But I don't know how I forgot that. I'm usually really good with names. But fucking, when I'm seeing him in these situations and I'm going, what would I do? I normally don't ask myself that, because when I'm following like a One Piece, or I'm following like a Hunter x Hunter, and I see these characters in these situations and I ask myself, what would I do? I'd be like, oh, well, I have superpowers, so I would just use my superpowers. I sit there, you know what I'm saying? It's very easy for me to think about what I would do. You know, even in a realistic story where the main character is just already a badass, it's like, okay, well, I'm already a martial artist, you know what I mean? So I would just you know what I'm saying? But this dude is a regular person. So it's like, now I'm thinking, what would I actually do in the real world if I was in these situations? And it makes it so much more exciting and so much more like heart pumping, you know? To
piggyback off that a little bit.
Yeah.
One thing I really love about this story so far is that, yes, this dude, as a amateur mystery novel writer, he has thought a lot about this stuff.
Yeah.
But clearly he has no knowledge at all about organized crime. So when he's like, oh yeah, if they're surveilling me, that car that's parked outside is probably going to follow me right now.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even think that car is going to stay there. They're going to call their buddies to have a second car follow. They got plenty of people around them to follow you. They have like 10 contingencies. They're not going to like waste that surveillance to leave to get you. They're going to stay and watch them. They're going to get someone else. He doesn't even think about that at all. And so he thinks he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't. But he still does to a degree, much more than average civilians. That dichotomy is just like so good.
It's so good.
Yeah, he has a very high level of deductive reasoning, and
but it's still not shit compared to the experience that the people he's dealing with have.
You have to be able to have the practice, put it in practice, right? And he's getting this, which is scary to think, like, down the line. How?
What is this
he's gonna be goddamn Sherlock Holmes. He's gonna be goddamn Sherlock Holmes. He's gonna be able to think of every fucking possible scenario in a blink of a fucking second, and he's gonna be able to operate with the highest probability of how to. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait to read on this story.
Yes, Volume 2 is. Like, it never loses its momentum, and obviously that feeling of the first volume is special, as it usually is with stories. But like, look at the Promised Neverland, Grace Fieldhouse arc. Obviously, that's the strongest story arc in the series. Ever, you could say Goldie Pond, whatever. But like,
depends what you like.
It depends what you like. But like, I feel like that Goldie Pond arc is so different. Every single thing that happens is the same level of craziness as the beginning of the story, and I respect that so much in My Home Hero, that even though that first volume is still special, it never feels like it's declining. Even though if it does decline, it would still be amazing because it's up here. You know what I mean, in the highest level. So like, even if it's down here, you're still upper, echelon. But
you have to have lesser arcs. I mean, it's just how it goes, right?
But I feel like it doesn't, though. I feel like it doesn't. It just keeps getting better and never loses its momentum. It's so crazy how it does that.
Yeah, that's
one more thing that I wanted to bring up with this is that I love that. So the main character, a father trying to protect his family, right? Very understandable. Now the dude he kills, Nobuto, His dad works in the mob, obviously, and that dude also is like, I am going to protect my son. He doesn't even know he's dead in volume 1. And so I love this kind of like dual fathers, like father versus father.
You have to agree with both of them, but this dude's obviously shitty. And I mean, like Tetsuo killed a guy, you know what I'm saying? Obviously it was in self-defense, and the dude seemed like a piece of shit, but then when you get the pathos, like with his dad, you're like, well, fuck, dude, now I feel for the dude he killed, but like, I don't know how to feel
Not for
about
the dude he killed, more for his dad.
Yeah, well, more for his dad, but I mean, like,
Nobito's a piece of shit. I was glad he got fucking whacked with the fucking toaster microwave.
It was a rice cooker, but
it just goes into like it all depends on like how you like view like law and how you feel like ethics and whatnot, right? Like even though this dude is a piece of shit, you're gonna have people who read this shit that say he should be processed, and the judicial system should fucking tell you what this dude is, you know what I mean? Like obviously
not one of these people here.
No, definitely not, but I'm just saying like just like the fact that it has those like moral quandaries you like that they you know that they go into, and it makes you it triggers different heartstrings, it invokes different emotions. It's just such a wild ride, and if I had to, it's definitely in my top 4 strongest volumes that I've ever read of anything. Strongest first volumes that I've ever read of anything. Like I can't recommend this fucking story enough, bro.
I think there's more to talk about here.
Wait, and did we?
And I haven't said anything yet.
Go ahead.
I really haven't said anything.
Go ahead.
I'm glad you brought up Nobito's dad, Matori-san. They keep mentioning it. We can't piss Matori-san off, right? Like we can't. Like Matori-san. We can't fucking piss him off, right? Like we got to do this job, right? And he's not even like born into the Yakuza. Like he got his way in with his craftiness, and he is to kind of just make a similar point to Kingdom, since we already covered that. He's basically the Oki of this for me, where he's so fucking interesting. The way that he handles the fucking phone calls. Like he had fucking he's got like a lawsuit going on or whatever. He's like He's like his own paralegal and the lawyer at the same time. I'll get Mr. fucking Yoshitatsu on the phone right now. All right, Yoshitatsu here. What the fuck's going on? And Buddy's over like, he's like, oh my god, this guy's a master. How many personalities does he have? How does he manage this? And so like that's by far the most interesting character. I mean, it's hard to say he's more interesting than Tetsuo.
But then also
the main character, but the most like the interesting secondary character.
You also have like the short-haired like Yakuza dude,
Kubo.
Kubo. Yeah, you got Kubo
he's
too.
He's bad, man. I like him. You know, even though you're not really supposed to, I like him.
Yeah. How can you not? Honestly, how can you not like the kid?
He's the one who went in and installed the bugs, right?
No, that's Kyoichi.
No, that's Kyoichi. Backwards hat surveillance.
Guy. Dude, how butt clenchy was that scene though? Where he's got the dude outside, like distracting, and I
get huge Killua vibes from Kyoichi or whatever. I feel like he's like super cool.
I can't wait till you guys get farther in the story and we talk about Kyoichi, because he becomes the second most important character in this entire series.
Mm-hmm. And that makes a lot of sense. Just with how like the volume finale goes, where like it's Tetsuo and his wife Kasen. They're having the conversation purposely in front of the wiretap that's fucking scripted so they can trick Kyoichi, but Kyoichi knows. Well, like, at first he does
staged.
It really seems staged, and I'm like,
does this seem staged
on it? This guy's on it, man.
Bro.
This is gonna be so fucking interesting to go forward.
Wild. And isn't Kasen such a rider, bro?
Bro, that's what I wrote. Ride or die.
Ride or die. Number one.
I was like, this is what you want for your wife every single time. Every single time.
Yes.
When she's like, all right, well, let me put a bag of that meat in that pot or whatever. I was just like, oh my god, she's amazing.
She has such good dialogue with the husband. Like, if roles were reversed, I'd be doing the same thing as you. We're in this together. This is our daughter together. This is our family. Let me, hold some of this burden with you.
You can't do all this by yourself.
It brought a tear to my eye. I'm like, that's the
dream right there.
Like that's the dream, bro. Like that's my wife. My life's gonna murder somebody.
Stone cold. She just seems so cool and collected and on it, and like I'm so excited to see what she does later in the story for sure.
Yes, it's so exciting. And one thing that resonated with me personally, this is kind of a personal story, but it goes with the story. Okay, so when Tetsuo switches the corpse out with clothes when he goes to the fucking Menards or whatever the fuck, your Home Depot to get supplies, and fucking Kyoichi picks his lock, gets in there, and he's like, okay, it's just clothes and shit. So it's nothing in here. We were, we thought like this might be something important. It's nothing, okay? But fucking Tetsuo folds a fucking bit of cloth in the fucking suitcase. So when Kyoichi opens it, he basically triggers the trap that Tetsuo sets. So he knows somebody did pick my lock, go into my trunk, open my fucking, suitcase and rummage through the shit. Even though it looks perfect and you can't tell. My one little folding is what told me.
Yeah.
And I know my brother don't really watch this, but that's what my dad did to us all the time. To know if we went in his room to steal his weed or whatever. Like that is my dad has been setting traps for us like that our entire life. So we would look for those kind of traps and shit. Like I was like, oh my God, that's what my dad used to do to me all the time. I was like, it just hit me on a personal level. Always, anytime something like that can hit you on, that's a deeply personal level to me.
Dude.
Where I was like, oh my God, this
is my life.
Just resonate with that. So, man, my home hero is as great as you've been telling me it is the whole time.
Most definitely. And most definitely.
It's so far, it's the hardest part of this episode is I had to read a couple volumes of fucking shit I've never read before, and it's like, what the fuck do I do with my life now? I'm in a quandary. Yep. I'm in a fucking huge quandary right now. What do I do?
You just need to fucking lock yourself in a room and get caught up with all this shit, bro. Because this shit is gas.
Everything that we're going to cover here today, the volume finale for the first volume hits so hard. Every single thing that we're covering today, I was like, damn, like these volume finales are out of control.
Yes, bro.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
Hell yeah.
So, but yeah. If you guys have anything else,
I feel like I'm good. Nickums, did you have anything else you wanted to say about the first volume of My Home Hero?
I could say one more thing, briefly, that I do find something very, very cool in this first volume is that the Yakuza, they're not actually trying to kill Reika, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The daughter. They're not actually trying to kill Reika. They're trying to kidnap her to extort the grandfather.
Yeah, that's right.
We
did not bring that up yet.
Of Tetsuo.
Yes.
And so like I find it was so interesting the first volume where like Tetsuo was like, well, I gotta save my daughter. But little does he know, if he just like kind of let things happen, like the grandfather would like lose a ton of money or something, get blackmailed. And yes, Nobuto did say, I'm gonna kill her, or I'm gonna like sell her.
He's just a drunk fucking stupid idiot.
Yeah,
right.
But he's killed his previous girlfriends before in a drunken stupor.
Yes. And I find it very fascinating that like the Yakuza kind of says like this Nobuto guy, he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's
like,
a loose cannon.
He's a loser. He's a loose cannon. Like he's like this dude is gonna ruin everything. And they
he's
kind of
only
know
in here
that.
because his dad bribed his way in here to begin
with. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting like plot line where the Yakuza are kind of like almost more rational than Tetsuo thinks they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
sure.
like, I think that's like super cool. Like,
honestly,
the whole thing. Yeah.
Like I'm caught up, and like this is for me, this is my favorite Yakuza that I've ever read about. I think. Yeah,
I believe it. I believe it.
So I'm super excited for you guys to get more information.
More than Tokyo Manji.
Well,
does that count? Does Toman count?
No, I don't. No, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say because it's more so like on the Manji side, on the Tokyo Revenger side of things. It's more like a delinquent, like gang organization. This is like real deal. Like,
well, it grows into Yakuza.
It does, but like from the
it's more of the youngster story, the adolescent
story. This is like real Dawn shit.
This is like organizational.
It really feels like a Scorsese flick, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like it really does. If Scorsese was like, okay, I've made 100 movies, maybe I should write a manga, and then hit up the author of Death Note and was like, you want to help me with this? That's kind of like what it feels like. Yeah,
bro, that's crazy. That's crazy comparison.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's like you have the traps in the folding of like the suitcase, and that reminds me of the trap door in his fucking drawer in fucking Death Note. You know, if anyone opens it, it's gonna destroy the Death Note. You know, like it just like I just get those like vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like dude is an assistant to Scorsese writing this, but.
I'm totally hooked. It was very hard to put down the first volume.
Oh yeah, that shit'll have you saying one more chapter for 5 hours. Like dead ass serious, bro. Like
believe it for sure.
Yeah.
The hardest thing I had to do was stop reading all these fucking
dude.
The hardest thing I did, like My Home Hero and Kingdom, I think were the top two where I was like, I haven't read either of these, and now I'm reading the first volume, and I just do not want to stop. Period. And it's just like I gotta move on. We got shit to do. We got shit to take care of. But man, these volumes.
Slapping.
Hard as fuck.
Slipper slapping. Yes.
Slap.
Kiko, you're next though, dude. What are we talking about?
I am. All right. So my first pick is by a mangaka who has a little bit of a unique background, I'll say, to mangaka, and she has done DC and Marvel cover art, and that's I don't feel like too many mangaka have done that. Have done American, westernized comic cover art, or any work with westernized comics. Period.
Yeah.
But this is Witch Hat Atelier.
Let's go.
By Shirahama Kamome.
Yes.
And Witch Hat Atelier is a monthly seinen manga out of Kodansha. Kodansha's fire, bro. We need that. We need
that app.
We need that shit. We need that shit. But you can tell from the title the story is about witches, but some may not know what an atelier is. An atelier is a private workshop where a master and their apprentices work together to produce art. And it's a very fitting name for this manga because of how beautiful it is, and also because in this story, art is magic.
Yes.
And it's
perfect.
That just gave me tingles to just
Chills.
put those together when I first started reading it. Yes, definitely. So, in this like Victorian era world, witches and magic are known by all, but ordinary folk can only receive the blessing of magic. They can't become witches. And that's what we're told. So we'll see, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
The story focuses on Coco, a young girl who is one of these ordinary folk.
Love Coco,
Best girl
dude.
ever,
Best
bro.
fucking girl, bro.
If you got a bob, I fuck with you. I don't care.
Yeah.
Japanese bob, I love the bob cut. I don't know why. I just love it. But yeah. So she's a young girl who's one of these ordinary folk, but does indeed become a witch, even though it's forbidden, right?
Right.
And Coco is discovered by a witch who sees her cast forbidden magic and should erase her memory, but doesn't. And the reason he doesn't is because this forbidden magic she casts is a lead for him to investigate, because he's investigating an organization who uses forbidden magic.
Yeah.
That obviously big no-no in this world, right?
Yeah.
And this causes him to go against his better judgment and take her into his atelier instead of erasing her memory. So that's the non-spoiler synopsis here. We're going to get into volume 1 and,
But like go Google Kamome Shirahame's like variant art that she does for Marvel and DC. She's done some Wonder Woman shit. She's done some like That's
why I'm wearing the X-Men joint today.
Let's go. You know how I'm coming. You feel me?
Oh yeah, obviously. You're the Marvel DC head out here.
Let's go.
Her art, the art of this manga is top tier art.
Yes.
Like for me, I've read we've all read a lot of manga. I've read a fuck ton of manga. Like this is to me top tier art along with Berserk, Vagabond. Like
this is top 5 at least.
Inoue type shit.
This is one of the only we actually own Witch Hat Atelier in paperback, like in real meat space.
Yeah.
And I can like try and zoom in a little bit on the art, but like just look at her. Look at Coco.
Beautiful.
Like her style is totally unique and beautiful. Like you're gonna go through this volume and just be blown away by everything in this.
There's not a bad drawing.
So good,
there's not a bad drawing, and
zero.
you can totally tell like with the art style. Like kind of like what Kiko was saying, like the style, to me, you can definitely see the Western techniques, like used in the art, but like even though it does feel very Western, you can still tell it's Eastern, but at the same time there's another level there where it looks like a Victorian painting sketch. You know what I mean? It's a very unique,
it's like woodblocks or something.
It's cheruby, you know what I mean? It feels very this is one of the most unique art styles that I've seen.
Shirahama Sensei is a goat. I swear to God,
bro. Honestly, I want to say this is my favorite.
How could you be
art.
this talented?
Yeah.
How could you be this talented?
Yeah.
Like this is some
and like
Kentaro Miura shit. Like,
get this too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my God. So she went on a hiatus recently, and she says, "I'm going on a hiatus to improve my art," and all the people are like, "What the
fuck are you talking
about?" Well, I'm here for it.
Better.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
Yes.
But also like like you were saying, like it's not very often that Eastern illustrators like kind of like go over to the West and do variant art for Marvel and DC and whatnot. And I feel like the only other example that I have there is Yusuke Murata from One Punch Man and Eyeshield 21. And it's like, why wouldn't you like Murata wants to come do Marvel shit. Like we got Murata. Like you know what I'm saying. Like you want him.
Murata's a goat too, man. That illustration, man. Like how can people be this talented? Like my hands just don't work. I can
barely read my name when I write it.
You ever seen iRobot? The robot's like like a printer or something. It's like, is that what you're doing?
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait to talk about Psyche Kusuo. Okay. Sorry. Sorry.
Yes.
I had to.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, sorry. Oh, my bad. But
yeah, I mean, we can get right into it if
let's
you want.
Get into volume one.
Yeah, let's get into volume one. Okay, volume 1, Witch Hat Atelier. This is your warning. Like I'll say it for all of the books that we do tonight. Before we move into the spoiler territory, just to give you enough time to react if you are washing your dishes while you're listening to this or something. But we are going to go put that timestamp down in the description. We're starting the spoiler volume 1 review of Witch Hat Atelier right now. Take it away, anybody.
All right. Well, I mean, the first thing I just really have to say is, I mean, I already kind of said it. I mean, this is among the most beautiful manga you could ever read.
Yes.
But not only just like volume covers. Like volume covers are obviously the prettiest thing you get, right? They're cover. I mean, they're colored and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
But even the chapter covers that are black and white are just as pretty in their own ways. Like in particular, chapter 3's cover to me really stands out. It's like Coco sitting in the middle and she has all these magical items around her. All the tools.
God, bro, that's
it gave
my
me
favorite
big
one
like
too.
Yeah, it gave me big like Negima vibes, you know, like because I was not on board with Negima for so long, even though my sister, which I trust very dearly, says, trust me, just get through the harem and you'll love it. And but there was a chapter cover, same thing with Negi, and has all these fucking magic items around him, is the one that hooked me. And that's why when I saw this, I'm like, man, this is so fucking beautiful. And
there it is.
There it is.
Oh,
there it fucking is, bro.
Good. I love
Oh
that.
my God. I love that.
That's the thumbnail today. That's the thumbnail for this episode. I'm doing it.
Beautiful.
I'm doing it.
All right. Go ahead with that, 'cause that's beautiful.
God, that's so
somebody
good.
else. Go ahead. Talk about what you love about this.
Okay, so like Witch Hat is one that you recommended to me, that Marnie has recommended to me, and these are obviously, you know, opinions of people that I trust, you know, the most inside of you know, of this shit that we do.
No question.
You know what I mean? And it took me a while to finally like do it, but I'm so glad that I did, and I knew that I would be. But like this is, and there have been many times where I have not listened to a recommendation right away, and for a multitude of reasons, you know, because I'm either like super into, I'm like there, it's never like all right, bro, yeah, I'll get to that one day, you know what I mean? It's never like that. But like
definitely not with any of you guys.
But definitely like Witch Hat is one where I kicked myself probably the hardest for not dropping everything I was doing and reading at the time and starting. I think when you originally recommended me Witch Hat, I was hardcore trying to get back caught up in the Western world of things, and was just really fucking disappointed the entire time because fucking Western comic books are not doing so well, at least back then. But and we don't need to get into that. Don't come for me. If you want to in the comments, whatever, I'm about that action. But what I want to say is I'm very mad that, you know, I didn't just do Witch Hat instantly. You know what I mean? But now that
same with me and Kingdom. Same.
But you know, but so I did want to say that for the Witch Hat fans, this is one that you definitely drop everything you're reading when it's recommended to you and just go do it, because
absolutely
it's such a whimsical and more so than a lot of magic stories that I've read. I mean, obviously that's the base requirement for writing a magic story, is it's got to be whimsical to a certain degree. But like for a magic story to hit so hard instantly, Coco is right away, you can tell, an incredible main character, and is going to be something very special throughout this entire series. And like even after one volume, I feel like you can tell that she is a very goated, you know, main character among anything else that you've read before. This is a very different story. The way that they handled it, the way that Kamome Shirahama writes the magic is very exposition heavy, but also feels so simple at the same time. You get huge pages where they're saying these are all of the different, you know what I mean? It's
and let's if I can interject a little bit.
Go ahead.
Because Coco, since we're in the spoiler territory here, for the only volume 1, because she is an unknowing, you know, because she is someone who is not grown up in the magic world.
Yes.
All this exposition makes total sense.
Yes.
1000%.
Like people are teaching her, like, this is how magic works. And when they're teaching her, they're teaching us. And you get literal explanation of how the magic system works. in chapter 1. Chapter 1, you already get how the magic system works.
Yes.
Partially.
Yes.
You get more obviously later, but you already get pieces of the rule set, and it's so great.
And it's things that you can go back to and go,
totally normal.
Yeah, like back when like you were still kind of supposed to be kept in the dark in chapter 1. Once you finally get that exposition and they flesh it out a little bit more later, like Hiko was saying, it brings chills to you because you're like, this is literally perfect.
Yeah,
like
it just is. It really
the
is.
art, and then the art, and then the like it's all art.
Yeah.
How can you do both? How can you do both at such a high level? Like, I don't get it. Like, that's why you get Yusuke Murata to fucking illustrate your story, because you're just a good storyteller and you can't draw for shit. How do you do both? I don't get it. This fucking woman is so fucking talented.
She's like fucking superhero.
Top tier.
It's crazy, man. And I feel like it's so rare. I mean, like Takehiko Inoue,
not playing.
Kentaro Miura, Kamome Shirahama.
Yeah.
Those are the three.
The magic system, you just get so much in-depth to the magic system. The art, obviously, super top tier art. The world, like all immediately in the story, you are steeped in wonder. You're just like, give me more. A flying carriage with Pegasuses and stuff. And like this like beautiful countryside and these intricately designed buildings. It's like Studio Ghibli almost. It's like I'm just like, give me all of this.
That first color page with the deer and the water, bro. I was like this.
It was so fucking beautiful.
It's so perfect. It's so perfect. And it's so crazy how you see, like, for me personally, when Kifri is introduced to the story, like right away, his aura, his character design, and his like first couple things that he says, you're like, this is an amazing character, and I don't.
He's one of the greatest characters of all time.
I don't need more information to know that. Like, I just can like she.
You already know this early in volume 1.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes, and he has characteristics that I love in other characters while still being completely his own character. And I just love those.
Hell yeah.
You know, I love those mysterious yet trustable. Are they you know what I mean? Like it's really hard to put it into words because I'm like really excited right now.
If Kifri all of a sudden becomes untrustable, I will cry my eyes out.
Yes, that's how well he's written, you know what I mean? And it's like,
I know.
But like there's still that like in the back of my head, you know, like, and if we're talking about volume 1, I feel like you could see it in volume 1, like that there is some like, you know, ulterior undertones.
He's super mysterious.
Yeah,
he's very mysterious.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But at the same time, he feels
you can tell he's got plans.
But he feels so legit. But he feels so legit.
Best written character ever.
Yes. And
he's like a super good boy teacher type, you know?
Yes.
But also a super mysterious, like,
and
shady
serious
type.
in like his okay, so like as a teacher, like you were saying, good boy teacher type, but you know he belongs to something bigger than his teaching. And he's very, you know, established in that world too, and trusted, and like is something, you know, and it's just like, man, bro, like this shit is fucking legendary. And inside of his disciples,
who are all little girls, and they're
perfect.
all sweet babies.
All perfect.
They're all perfect.
I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Risha and Agate. Oh my god.
I'm gonna keep it a buck, bro. Them. And Kamome did an incredible job of making me be like, fuck this Agate chick, bro. You know what I mean? Because I was like, man.
Well, wait till you're like the volume 4, bro.
Yeah, I was like, man, you have. I was super excited when she's introduced in this volume because I'm like, I didn't even think about it, but I was like, no, like stark black-haired girl. And then here she comes. And here she is. Her design is amazing. Her attitude is amazing. Her character is written amazingly, even though I don't like her at first. You know what I mean? And
that's what's so amazing, obviously.
Yeah. You know, but like her character is just like, okay, of course there needs to be a character like this to bring drama to this new situation that you know that Coco is in. You know what I mean? And man, when she fucking like forces her out into the test, I was like, "Oh, you stupid bitch! I'm gonna fucking knock you out."
And that like scene transition when Kifri's talking with that other witch lady, and they're like, "Oh no, she's not gonna take the test now. Like that's way too dangerous." And back to this, like she's going through the portal.
Jump through the screen and beat this bitch.
Yeah.
God,
I loved it so much. Alera's the other witch, and she's so pretty. Man,
light skin gang.
Light skin gang. Hey, bro, Shirahama, man, drew Alera so pretty. I was like,
dude.
oh my God, I'm in love with this fucking 2D fucking, yeah, man, I just loved it right away. But you just, again, like Kingdom, and this is kind of what I was going to say in Kingdom, and I stopped myself to say, it's very similar that you get so much valuable information in this first volume that it immerses you so quickly into this world and into this story that it feels like each chapter is a volume itself. Like you feel like you got so much, and you're just like, oh my God, I obviously want everything that you're going to give me, and I feel like this is coming at the perfect pace for me.
It never feels overwhelming. It always feels perfect.
Yeah, and it's like the pace, like it's like, okay, I don't want to. We talk about Hunter x Hunter a lot, but the Hunter x Hunter anime, I feel like is the most perfectly paced anime ever, and that's what this manga feels like. It's like I'm getting all the pertinent information exactly when I need it. I'm never bored. I'm never wanting for information. Well, I'm wanting for information, but it's
I never
not
feel
long.
like I'm not getting enough.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get it when it's right, and I never feel like I'm just.
You're always getting some.
Yeah, and when you're not, and when you're not getting information, you're getting characters fleshed out. You're getting new mysteries and new concepts introduced that make you go, okay, I'm going to get that later while this other information that I've been waiting for is coming, and it's just a perfect combination. This is some of the best storytelling I've ever seen in
another great combination. The brim hats.
Oh, God,
that design, that eye, and the hat, and the cords hanging down, and like
in the witch that gives her the book.
Yes.
Oh my God, bro! It felt like Zelda.
Yes, it did.
Like the Sheikah eye.
Yeah, dude.
Yes, it did. The Majora's Mask is the one big eye.
Majora's Mask.
Exactly right. And so it's crazy. Like you get the brim hats early, right? Because obviously one sold Coco the book and then gave her that magic wand as a gift. Hey, this is what you get on top of buying the book. You get this promotional gift, whatever.
Right.
And you don't know anything about the brim hats at that point, which was great because you're like, this guy looks shady, but who knows? He might be just like a regular ass wizard sitting in the fucking alley selling books. But then the brim hats are introduced so suspensefully, where Alera is accusing Kifri of only taking Coco in as a lead to the brim hats, and you're like, is he only taking her in as a lead, or is he actually this good? Back to the mysterious, aspect we're talking about.
Is
with
this
Kifri
misdirection? Have I been had?
It's so good. And then you see the brim hat at the test site after forces fucking Coco, and she completes it.
And he's like,
the brim hat standing on. The seed has sprouted.
Yes, bro. Chills. Chills.
And then you get confirmation at that point, because now you know that is a brim hat that sold Coco that book and gave her the wand, and that's so huge for that point. That gave me goosebumps, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Or like the final words in the final words in the volume, where that brim hat is like, welcome to the world of magic, Coco.
Oh my
You
God.
are our one and only hope. And you're like, what?
What does that mean? I just got goosebumps right now.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Bro, and that dragon?
The dragon.
That's the
Miura
threw
shit,
me out
of my chair, bro. I was like,
it might not be
breathtaking.
That dragon is so pretty, and I hate to compare directly to Miura, but it's like those dragons, bro. I love the dragon artistry, and obviously Berserk is some top tier shit.
Yeah, grab the dragon. Grab the dragon. Yes.
Grab the.
Look at that nonsense.
Look at that shit, bro.
Dude, I just don't get it.
I don't remember if it's Tisha or Riche who is like, it's not what I saw, it's what saw me.
Yes,
and we need to get the fuck out of here. I was like, what the fuck saw you? What saw you?
Turn the page
and it's the dragon. Bro, crazy.
Probably my favorite moment probably my favorite moment though. There's a lot of incredible moments in volume 1.
Yes.
My favorite moment is when Coco's talking to her mom, and she's like, no, you don't understand. I got this book. The book is like, a witch book. It's a special witch book. And look, I got a wand, and if you press it, it turns into a pen, and you're supposed to go, oh no, she got duped. And then you're like, wait, when you get the explanation of how magic works, you're like, oh my God, she wasn't fleeced. This is real.
This legit.
Yeah, my god, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever read in my life.
And the Brimag gives her a book of fucking forbidden magic for her to fucking, try to do. And obviously she does it at some point and petrifies her mom. And that's like the driving force of the story, kind of, that she needs to go with Kifri to learn magic. But there's so many layers. Reasons why. Yeah, layers, exactly. Like she wants to be a fucking wizard more than anything in the whole fucking, a witch. She wants to be a witch more than anything in the world already. And she just thinks there's nothing more interesting and beautiful as magery, witchery, whatever the fuck, witchcraft. and it's great. And I'm glad that you brought up the pen and the fact that, like a magic wand is an ink pen, because similar to Full Metal Alchemist, right? We're drawing, transmute something, or in this case cast a spell. The difference is that Witch Hat goes way in depth in the art and breaks
even
down
in this
the symbols
volume we
being
get
drawn.
the trees, we get the tree branches dying and then being put into the water or whatever, and then turning it black, and you got to boil it, get the excess water out, you know what I'm saying? Bro, I was like, bro, this is the tightest magic I've ever heard about.
Yes, the breakdowns of the symbols is so
oh my god, and then when she writes the key, when she writes the keystone mark and accidentally has one too long, and then and then that's what
splashes Agatha with that.
And then that's what but that memory is what gets her to the top of the mountain, bro, because she oh, dude, it's so
good. Absolutely
perfect. Is wild.
You want to know what? You want to know what? I'm going to say it. This is my favorite first volume of anything I've ever read.
It's hard to top.
It's really hard to top. And it's just crazy, how much exposition you get so fast. And not only does it just break down what's being on a linear level, it's being drawn. It's not a linear level because it breaks down symbols exactly being drawn, exactly what they mean. And it breaks down even sloppy versus clean artistry, or big versus little, like you explained with the keystone mark. You have a rune in the middle, which decides the element type, and then you have the keystone mark, and then you have the glyph, and each one of them, and it doesn't activate until you complete the circle. So you just leave a little fucking empty spot on that circle, even though you've drawn the glyph. So you got mad glyphs drawn already. You just complete the circle to cast a spell. How is this so fucking perfect? I swear to God. I don't know if I could smile. I don't think I've smiled more. I'm looking at myself, which I don't really normally do in this, and I've been smiling the whole fucking time because this might be, and just maybe even give you a little background. This was recommended by Nickham's wife, who is this is my Aniki, very dear to me.
Shout out to Marnie, man.
And she recommended this to me, and I dropped everything that I was reading and picked it up immediately, and this might be the single great, it's so hard because Kingdom is I know Kingdom is for me, even though I haven't dove in it. I'm current in Witch Hat.
But this is also very much for you too, though.
Yes.
On the other side.
Yes, exactly right. And on the surface level, you wouldn't think so. It's a story about a bunch of girls, and it's it's. And I can't say it's it's not something that a man can't relate to women, of course, because obviously you can. But when you think about it, I'm 30 plus years old. These are 10-year-old girls. If you look at it on a surface level, it's how would I really relate to 10-year-old girls? But once you start reading, I'm like, oh my fucking
I didn't even know that this was my thing. Almost.
Man, it makes me want a daughter. I want a daughter really bad. I want a baby Coco.
Yes.
Me too, so bad. So much. It's crazy. It's so crazy, man.
Hell yeah.
This story is definitely top tier and very high on my list. Yes. I mean, it's a 10 for me, and that's
100%.
How can it not be a 10? It's okay, man, people that have left and came back, left at the non-spoiler and came back for the spoiler. How is this not a 10, bro?
And I'm sorry that this segment might go a little long, but there's just no way we can let it go without talking about forbidden magic and why it's forbidden, and that forbidden magic is magic casted on the human body, and there's one solo exception, and that's erasing memories. And I explained in my synopsis,
to protect people.
Yes, and it's so great because some good witches, which we just have to take at face value, are good witches, conspired and wiped everyone's memory of magic and took on apprentices that could protect the secret of magic. So down the line, you could even see this story forming into a One Piece situation where these good witches were not actually good.
Yes.
They're just trying to control magic themselves, and you know, it could totally flip on us, and you know, if that happens, obviously that's going to be great for the story.
Right.
It's going to fuck me up maybe a little bit, but that's perfect. That's what you want, right?
Yes.
But and just to kind of even like go a little bit more in depth on like forbidden magic, that's magic cast upon the human body. You can't change your age. You can't teleport yourself. You can't tamper with thoughts or emotions of other people. You can't use attacking magic, which that's obvious why you shouldn't do that. But you can also not use healing magic.
Yes.
Right.
That's the shit
Healing
that
magic is forbidden.
Healing magic is forbidden. And that was like, that in itself like made sense, because like at first maybe not so much, but like once you read on, you get more exposition. I mean, everyone used to know about magic in the world, but people were corrupted by it and created like horrible like things, presumably with human alteration magic. There was like a lawless time where people were just fucking people up with magic for, you know, we're doing it for science. We're doing it for the, you know, we got to know, like, this is all for research.
Right.
Even though it's the most fucked up shit you can do, some Nazi fucking, you know, doctor type shit, you know.
As they say in Volume 1, like, you know, if humans are able to do something, they're gonna do it. So like, because magic, you could do anything. People did everything in a bad way.
And everything, exactly, in a bad way. And that's, you know, I love Full Metal Alchemist, and this is reminiscent in those ways that art is, you know, the catalyst to
magic,
the magic, and that human alteration magic or human transmutation is forbidden, and for very good reason, you know. Like, you know, on the surface level, you know, you start to think like, you know, just research that we do on you know, like cells and whatnot, you know, cloning, that kind of shit, and the immorality of it. It's very grounding for a story that makes you really relate to what's going on here.
It makes you think, for sure.
Definitely. Absolutely. And I love it. It's beautiful.
And one more thing to say about the story. Absolutely. One more thing to say generally is there are only 36 chapters.
That's so
crazy. There's no reason why you should not read this manga. Just
drop everything.
Just drop everything right now.
This is such an easy one to just do. Yes.
Read Hat Atelier.
Yes. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Beautiful manga.
Let's go into the second round.